Electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation, they are the part of terminal oxidation in aerobic respiration. In my previous video, I have explained you electron transport chain. And now we are going to discuss oxidative phosphorylation. It simply means formation of ATP by oxidation of reduced coenzymes NADH and FADH2. And ATP synthesis takes place when proton gradient is developed. And proton gradient simply means difference in the proton concentration in between matrix and intermembrane space. And this proton gradient is developed when protons, they are moved from matrix to intermembrane space through some of these complexes. Some of these complexes, they work as proton pump. And these are complex first, complex third, and complex fourth. But complex second, it does not work as the proton pump because it does not contain transmembrane protein or proton channel. And complex first, it transfers 4 proton, complex third, it transfers 4 proton, and complex fourth, it transfers 2 proton while transfer of electron. And when proton gradient is developed, higher concentration of proton occurs in the intermembrane space, then a force, proton motive force, it is developed. And by the effect of proton motive force, these protons, they move from intermembrane space to matrix through F0, F1 particle ATP synthase. And the structure of ATP synthase I have explained in my previous video in oxysome. And when 4 protons, they are moved through this complex, 1 ATP is produced. 1 ATP is produced. And when NADH, 1 NADH takes part in the process, then 10 proton, 4, 4, 2. 10 proton, they will be moved through this complex. Then by 1 NADH2, the number of ATP will be 10 by 4 means 2.5 ATP. And when 1 FADH2 takes part in the process, then 4 plus 2, 6 proton, they will be transferred from this side to this side. And then number of ATP by 1 FADH2 will be 6 by 4 means 1.5 ATP. 2.5 ATP from 1 NADH2 and 1.5 ATP from 1 FADH2. But I think you have studied 3 ATP by 1 NADH and 2 ATP by 1 FADH2. And this is the controversial point among the scientists, and some of the scientists, they say that ATP cannot be in the form of fraction. Then they have transformed 2.5 ATP into 3 ATP and 1.5 ATP into 2 ATP.